I'm Meenal Pathak and HCL Healthcare welcomes all the new moms. It's a life-changing experience and it can get a little challenging as well as exhilarating a lot of times. Your body right now needs time to heal, rest and recover. But along with this is also that anxiousness or overwhelming feeling of going back to your original figure, and we all want to do it quick and fast. Once you are cleared for the exercise after childbirth, which is generally 3 to 6 months, yoga can be very helpful in giving that strength back to you. Plus, it is very easy on your joints. It is very simple to do and you can do it right from the comfort of your home at your desired timelines in accordance to your entire life schedule. So the whole idea here is to give you very basic asanas and positions which will help you to get relief from those shoulder pains or a weak back or a protruding belly, which is all the major points of concern for all the new moms. So here we're going to do a lot of those asanas, positions and the corrections which will help you to gain those energy levels and strength back. So let's get started. We'll perform all these asanas on the mat here. Keep a mat handy in case you do not have a mat. You can also use a sheet of a cotton. Just wrap it 2-3 times. Make it a nice and a thick sheet so that when we perform it there, your spine is not getting digged in the hard surface. Great. So let's get started with some basic warm-up moves. For these moves, you can take a towel or a cotton cloth or a simple band like this. For this, we'll firstly just stretch our shoulders nice and light and take this movement only to a level to which you feel comfortable. Always remember that you will not achieve all your goals in 1 day or 1 week or 1 month. You will have to follow up on these movements consistently to see the results. So let's get started with our first basic stretch, which is great for strengthening of your shoulders, because with that continuous bending forward and breastfeeding, most of the women start feeling tired around their cervical spine and shoulders. So this is a full body movement in which you're going to hold on to this straight, release up and then relax it down. We'll couple it with the breath now. Take a nice deep inhale all the way up, and then as you exhale, you'll bring it down. We're going to repeat it for 5 times. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, relax down. When you are doing this movement, though it is completely a upper body movement, try to understand how your core is functioning. Now, if I have to tell you what exactly is your core muscle, all the muscles of your body right under your chest till your pelvis, this entire muscle group which is surrounding your spine are your core muscles, okay? So it is not just about sucking in the stomach and stopping your breath to tighten your core. Rather, feel as if this is one big cylinder and you are holding all the muscles nice and tight in this cylinder to make your core muscles function. Okay, so this is one thing you will sustain throughout the session. In fact, throughout your entire day movements, whether you try to stay active or not, make sure that your core is engaged. Every time you feel that you are, not using the core muscles, or you are just falling down or hunching or rounding your back, keep correcting yourself and keep control of your core muscles here. So while we're doing these basic stretches, then also remember that your core has to be engaged as you lift up and bring it back. So this is the first movement. In case you think it is a little too much, you can just hold up and stretch a little and bring it back. Stretch a little and bring it back. Stretch a little and bring it back. And third variation is complete 360-degree movement in which you're gonna lift your hands up, stretch it all the way back. Let me show you from the side also. It is a movement in which you're gonna lift your hands up, stretch all the way back and forward. Back and forward. Always remember, there is no rush to achieve any movement. The idea here is to slowly progress and try to gain control of your muscles as you go about it. Now let's move on to our next warm-up, which is on the force, which means that you have your hands right under your shoulders and your knees right under your hips. We call this cow and a cat stretch, and you have to follow this very basic movement at a pace which feels comfortable to you without adding any jerks to these movements, and it doesn't have to be lot of movements. Maximum 3 to 5 movements, taking your core into control. With your hands right under your shoulders and your core tucked in, you'll have a nice deep inhale. Without bending your hands, you're gonna stretch your lower abdominal muscles right under your navel. Full deep stretch. Lift your chest open and out. Look up. And then as you exhale, you're gonna tuck your belly in. Bring that navel to your spine. Feel as if there is a thread tied to your spine and it's being pulled up. That's like a full drawn spine in. And then as you inhale, you're gonna stretch up. And then as you exhale, navel to the spine, spine tucked into the sky, and hold it here. And one last time, a nice deep inhale. And stretch up, exhale, and tuck it in. From here, go back and sit in the Vajrasana, which is also a thunderbolt pose. You will realize that after childbirth, there are a lot of times that you have to sit down with the baby. Why not make your sitting position in such a way that helps to keep your muscles nice and taut? So, Vajrasana is one such position in which all your quads as well as your core muscles are nicely engaged, and it gives your spine a straight posture also. So whenever you can, try to sit in this pose for at least 5 to 7 minutes throughout the day, maybe in a one go or at regular intervals. In case you find it difficult to sit in a Vajrasana straight away, you can always use any kind of a long pillow. Keep it right here over your calf muscles and then try to sit on it. It will give you a lot of leverage, and then slowly you can progress and release that pillow. So let's move on with our first asana here, which is Setu Bandh Sarvang Asana. We also call it as a bridge pose. For this, you'll come down to the mat. Now, how you come down and sit down to the mat or how you get out of your bed is a very important part, that too after childbirth, because your spine is pretty weak and you really need to understand that you will not jerk up your spine while getting up or going down. Always make sure that you're gonna tilt it from the side and then you will go back on your back here. For the bridge pose, you will have your feet, your hips, your shoulders all aligned in one straight line. Make sure that your feet are at a distance which is comfortable for you to begin with. The idea is that you should be able to touch your feet with your fingertips. If that's there, perfect. Even if that's not there, do not feel that burden of bringing your feet in, pressing up your knees. Stay in your comfortable zone to begin with. Slowly we're gonna add lot of movements, and slowly you will see the progression with your muscles as you gain more strength and endurance. Now you will have to take control of your core muscles here, bringing the navel to the spine, squeezing and lifting up. For this, I'm gonna teach you a lot of variation. First variation is that you are just lying down, tucking each and every vertebrae down to the mat, taking control and lifting up. This is just a pelvic tilt in which you are using your core muscles and then bringing it back down. Again, tucking in and letting it go. Again, tucking your core muscles in and then letting go. Always remember that your stomach has expanded way too much, and to bring all those muscles back into action will take some time. So give this a lot of practice, that how you bring all your muscles in and then relax back. So that's why doing crunches and all those workouts right now is not a great idea, because you would have heard of the term diastasis recti, in which there is a separation of the abdominal muscles when you try to put a lot of pressure on it right after the childbirth. So instead of doing crunches and all those very strong exercise, try to get control of your core with these movements. So tucking in and back, again tucking in and back. If you are good with this movement, we will now move on to a bridge in which you will tuck these muscles in and then slowly bring them up. Now how far you have to take them again is within your own comfortable zone. Navel to the spine, squeeze and then slowly bring it back. Again, navel to the spine, squeeze and then slowly bring it back. The idea is to do it both the ways. One is a continuous movement and another one is a hold. So in the hold, you can spread your hands out or you can keep your hands up. Take a nice deep inhale. Squeeze all your muscles. As you exhale, you're gonna go down, keeping each and every vertebrae on the mat. Yeah. Now the same way we will bring it up and hold. We're gonna hold it for 30 seconds to begin with. You will start feeling a slight burn in your glutes here. That's what exactly the name is, a glute bridge, right? And also in your core. See, all your joints here are absolutely free. There is no pressure to your ankles. There is no pressure to your knees. In fact, your spine is also completely released. So you're not pushing yourself up from the spine. You are gaining your muscles here. Core, quads and glutes. In fact, your calf muscles as well. So all your joints are nice and relaxed. All your muscles are working here. Once you feel comfortable with this movement, you can further go a step ahead in which you will interlace your fingers together behind your back, squeeze and lift up. But you will practice this movement only later, maybe 3 to 6 months or weeks after you feel comfortable with holding and squeezing your chest, your core out, and then slowly get back. In the same bridge pose, we can further add the movements of the legs, again, which will help us to take control of our core and basically the muscles which are falling below the navel. Yeah. Number one is a simple leg movement in which you will extend your legs out and back, out and back, out and back, out and back. Now if you keep both your palms here below the navel, you will understand that how your core muscles here are getting engaged as you push your leg out and back. But one thing which you have to remember is to avoid coning up of your core muscles. Coning up means that when you hold your muscles here, you cone them out upwards. We will have to avoid this here, making sure that the navel always stays tucked in towards the mat. There is no arching. You will not lift your spine up. This stays tucked in, your knee stays up, not too in and too far apart, just in line with your hips and keeping that core into control. You're gonna lengthen out and back, lengthen out and back, lengthen out and back. Here, along with this, we will add certain hand movements also, which will help you to keep your shoulders also functioning. So this movement is called a dead bug movement. You can start with only legs first and later on add the hands as well. It also acts as a brain teaser because you have to take the opposite hands and the legs out. So both the hands up and legs up. Now with the opposite hand and the leg, you take it down and then bring it back up. You bring it down and then bring it back up. You bring it down and up, down and up, down and up. Minimum 10 to 12 movements will slowly get you a lot of control over your core movements here. So after doing the bridge pose, I want to add certain prone movements here. So prone movements exactly means all the movements which are on your stomach. So we will use the support of the hand to slide down on the mat. So always remember, again, you will not be jerking yourself up in coming back from an asana. Rather, it has to be a slow and a controlled movement. So let's start with some prone movements here. The first one is a very basic cobra pose, which is also a Bhujangasana. So the idea here is to not push your core muscles towards the mat. Always remember, here also our idea is to tuck the navel to the spine as we rise up. So do not try to push yourself with your palms here to rise. Rather, try to take that control again. So I want you to get your hands out here around the chest, your toes also pointed, your core muscles pointed, your glutes also engaged. And slowly as you inhale, you're gonna rise up. Do not try to rise up like to a highest level or to your max capacity on day one as you begin your workouts. The idea is to slow and steadily gain that strength. So maybe just rise up halfway up, keeping your elbows squeezed along your chest and not flaring them out. So nice deep inhale and then slowly rise up. As you rise up, again make sure that your core is in complete control and then slowly get down. Take a nice deep inhale as you rise up. And then as you exhale, you're gonna slowly bring it back. And after a few days of practice, you can go all the way up. Again, not on the power of your palms, but with that tuck of the core muscles towards your navel and all the way up. Hold it here at least for 5 breaths and then slowly get down. While you are with the child, you have a lot of movements which are all forward bending. So try to add this posture sometimes during the day while you are with your child playing or reading or doing any such activity in which you can be in prone movement. Your hands can be here, or maybe just keep your hands to your cheeks and stretch your legs out. Simple but very effective and relaxing for your spine. It is a pose in which you are bending back without putting again any pressure on your joints. Let's come to our next pose, which is our tiger pose or a bird dog pose as we call it. For this again we will come on all the fours. So I want you to keep your hands right under your shoulders and your knees right under your hips. To begin with, if you're not comfortable with leaving your hand and just balancing it on one hand, you can start it only as a leg movement. So here you will lift your leg straight out and then bring it in. Lift your leg straight out and then bring it in. Now you have to remember that in this movement, you will not be arching your spine too much, which means you'll not be lifting your leg way too high, putting pressure on your lower lumbar spine. The idea here again is the control of the core. You will not keep your core hanging like this, rather it is always engaged. Once you feel comfortable with the basic leg movements of leg extension and tuck in, extend and tuck in, extend and tuck in, then you can add the hands also, plus couple it with the breath. So these movements can be as slow and as comfortable in line with your strength. So now we'll try to do it with both hands and legs. The idea is to bring it all together with a nice squeeze and then extend out. You will keep your eyes down to the mat with a neutral spine and not look up all throughout this movement. So nice deep tuck and then stretch out, deep tuck and stretch out. As you stretch out, you're gonna take a nice deep inhale. As you bring it back in, you're gonna exhale. Inhale and then exhale. Inhale and then exhale and let it go. As you exhale, you're gonna tuck all the muscles in, navel to the spine and then let go. You will again add minimum 10 to 12 of these movements every day to get that strength back into your core. One thing which I would like to point out here is, while you are doing all these movements and you are also holding your baby, your wrist becomes pretty weak. So one way in which you can strengthen your wrist or make sure that it is not getting a lot of pressure is these basic wrist movements in which you holding your both the wrists together, round and round, both the sides, clockwise and anti-clockwise. Plus, while we are keeping the wrist like this, you will also try to stretch it back side and to the sides and insides. So as much as you can stretch all the ways. Plus, you can also do this technique of squeezing a cloth, both the sides, a nice deep squeeze, both the sides, a nice deep squeeze. Yeah, and after you gain certain strength, you can also use a small 1 kg, 2 kg dumbbell and practice these movements. And all the movements in which you will be keeping your palm on the floor, remember not to dig your wrist in the mat, rather keep the entire paw like this. So equally distributing the weights to your fingertips, to the mounts and to the whole palm. So now let's move on to our next asana, which is a cow face pose, and which is very helpful with all the new mothers for their shoulders, and in fact everyone, because everybody is nowadays hunching on to their devices or working on their laptops or watching the screens. So let's get started. For this also we'll need a cotton cloth, a longer one, or maybe a band like this. So for cow face pose, you'll come down to the mat. For all the new moms who find it difficult to sit down on the mat, can use a yoga block like this, or you can always squeeze in a cotton towel or a cotton sheet right under your hips, okay, to give you a lot of support to sit nice and tall here. For few months or maybe for few days or few weeks, as long as you do not feel comfortable sitting straight on the mat, you will use all these props. Never shy away from using the props for the benefit of the movement. Yeah. So here we're gonna use this prop to make sure that you sit nice and tall. Now, the idea is to move your legs both the sides. If you feel that your hips are very tight all the time, do add this basic sequence before you move on to a cow face pose, which is 90-degree hip switches. So you're gonna switch to both the side with your legs here and here. Simple 90-degree switches. This will help to take away all the tightness around your hips here and here. Squeeze, nice and tall, core tucked in to both the sides. And once you feel comfortable, then you can add on to this movement in which we're going to cross both the legs, both the sides. The idea is to squeeze in as much as possible, ideally bringing your heel right under your hips. But it is absolutely okay if you are not able to reach like this. You can keep your legs slightly open. And like I said, you can always tuck in a yoga block or a piece of cloth to give you that kind of a straight and an erect spine. Now, the idea is to bring your hand down and from the down up and hold them together and stretch. Now, if this is not a comfortable position for you and is not happening, it's perfectly fine. Either you can hold on to your t-shirt from top and down and do that complete stretch, or you can again hold on to any band or a piece of a cotton cloth, hold it up and down and do that stretch. In fact, in this position, you will bring it up and down also for a complete stretch. One more thing which I want to add to a movement like this is, if you have a problem of a belly and you feel that your spine is completely okay and there is no inflammation around your spine, you can do a slight forward fold here as well. It will give a complete stretch to your hips, glutes as well as your hamstrings. So do it slowly and steadily only if you feel comfortable. The idea is you're gonna hold on to your both the hands with the band or without the band. Nice and tall. Take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, you're gonna fold forward. Feel this stretch, how amazing it is and how relaxing it is. And then slowly, as you inhale, you bring it back up. So our next position is very simple and it is absolutely relaxing, which is a child pose. After this, we'll do a lot of standing positions. As the name suggests, child pose is completely relaxing and you can do it as many times throughout the day, the only thing you have to keep in mind is while you're doing these movements, your stomach has to be ideally empty. You will not do them right after your meals. So if you have had something light like a cup of a tea and a sandwich, maybe 30-40 minutes, or if you have had a full meal, then maybe a gap of 1.5 to 2 hours. Here, you're gonna tuck your core in and letting go is the movement. So child pose is all about letting go. But while this, we'll also have some kind of a stretch in our whole lower body as well. If you can come down in a thunderbolt pose, go down here. Taking control of your core muscles, you're gonna stretch all the way out and slightly opening up your legs with toes joined in. You're gonna stretch down. Your glutes touching your heels here. Core engage, your shoulders relax, your palms relax, elbows down, forehead relax. Completely relaxing pose is exactly what child pose is. Few things which you have to keep in mind while you are in a child pose is it increases the blood flow to your brain. So a lot of times people feel slightly dizzy with so much of our blood flowing to your brain. If you also feel so, keep your eyes open and do not close your eyes. Try to hold it for like 30 seconds and then you can increase it for a minute or two for complete relaxation right from your back to your glutes to your entire upper body. And then slowly you will walk back up. So now let's add certain movements or asanas which you can do on the go, right? As a mother or as a new mother, you'll always be on the go and you might not find time to sit down and practice certain moves. So how about adding these moves while you are just standing around, yeah? So the first pose which we are going to do here is a basic Tad asana. So for this asana, you have to remember that you will not be shifting your weight forward or back. Rather, you will keep it in balance on your both feet. So ideally stand with your feet right under your hips to have a better balance, or you can just keep your feet together as well. As you inhale, you're gonna lift both your palms up and keep it right over your head. And exhale. We're gonna take it step by step here. In the next movement again, as you inhale, you're gonna rise up. Here, try to go all the way up on your toes, and when you lift up, make sure you are engaging all the muscles right from your kneecaps, taking your quads into action, your glutes, and your core tucked in as you rise up. So this is like a complete movement of tucking in and then squeezing up. It is not a movement in which you are pushing forward or pushing back. I want you to rise up with complete core control and stretch. Try to hold it at least for the 5 breaths. So nice deep inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Like this at least 3 to 5 times, and then slowly you will come down to the mat. After this, let's add to the another movement, which is a Trikona asana. Again, a great asana to help get strength to your lower body as well as the upper body. To begin with, you have both the feet pointed forward and then slowly move one to the side. The idea is to keep the distance which is under your control. Do not stand too apart in a way that you start falling down. Keep your legs in such a distance which you feel you can hold on with your core under control. Now the idea is to take a nice deep inhale, lift your one hand up and shift your glutes to the side. The idea is not to fall down or fall back. This idea is to open your chest out. So a nice deep inhale up, shift and then exhale down. Now how far you can go down again will depend upon how supple or flexible you are at this moment. So it's perfectly fine to go only till your shin or to the knees or maybe slightly down. If you need some help, you can use the props here again and go down to a level like this. And then slowly further go down, and then slowly further going down. So next thing you have to keep in mind is that your chest is not falling down and you're not bending your knees while doing this position. The idea is to not compromise on the form in any which ways. You will go and slide only to the level to which you are comfortable, but keeping your form right. So right now, I'm trying to look up to my fingertips, keeping my chest open, tucking my core here, feeling the complete stretch to my quads, inner thighs, and then slowly bringing it back up. Same way, I'm gonna slide my feet in, slide it to the side, and then as I exhale, I'm gonna go low into a position in which again I'm tucking my core, stretching it, and up. Try to watch your fingertips, maybe from the side or straight hand. Chest open, lifted out, core tucked in, full stretch to your inner thighs, your calf muscles and your core. Full deep stretch as you hold. While you are here and you're not able to come back straight, again, slightly release your knees and then slowly get back up. And back to the center. You will start with basic Tadasana, then moving on to Trikonasana, and then moving on to Veerbhadra 1 Asana. So for Veerbhadra Asana, the idea again is the same. You will just open your legs a little more than 3 feet, maybe 4 feet here. Take a nice deep inhale again, point to one side, tuck the core and shift here. While you shift out, maybe you can bring your feet a little angle to side for the comfort. Otherwise, this feet will keep pointing straight forward. Tucking your core in here, a nice stretch. Give length to your spine and give length to your full body here as you go about it. Now the idea is as you exhale, to go down. Now how far you will go down again will depend upon your strength and endurance at the moment, okay? But remember, the form doesn't have to be compromised, so you will not have your feet in and your knee crossing by like this. The idea is to keep this knee and ankle angle at the 90 degree. You will slide only down to a level which feels comfortable and open up your hands here. It's perfectly fine to not go all the way down and just keeping it to this level. But if you can go down, then go and slide further down, again keeping the form correct, tucking the core in, stretching again your entire lower body, giving it a good strength. Along with this, your chest lifted, opened and stretched out. Again, watching your fingertips here. Hold 1, 2. So you are holding a pose doesn't mean you are holding your breath. You will continuously keep inhaling and exhaling while you are at it. And then slowly bring it back. Same way to the other side. Point, stretch, engage, lengthen and go down. Watch your fingertips here. This is a great pose, as the name suggests. Brings a lot of strength to your both upper body and the lower body. Keep holding it nice and tall. And then slowly get back in. So now let's add certain cool down stretches and movements to our whole routine. The first relaxing position which we are going to do, or basic cool down stretch as we call it, is a Markat Asana, which is a basic spine twist. Great for relieving all the stress which gets built up on your lower lumbar spine here. For this, you will just keep your hands out and open. You're going to lift your both the legs up if comfortable, or just keep them down, and you're going to twist it to the side. Now when you twist it to the side, it's quite okay if your knees are not hitting the floor. It's perfectly fine if you are still up. But to bring that stretch, you can add certain props. Like here, you can keep a yoga block to give that complete stretch to your legs here. Yeah. Otherwise, it's perfectly fine to keep them in the air as well. But with the movement of the hand, you'll also look the other way with your face. So a complete spine twist here. Bring it back to the center and the twist to the other side. This is like the most basic variation. We can add a slight intensity here by crossing our legs one over the other and then shifting the legs to one side and face to the other side. Again, pushing your one knee over the other to bring around that complete twist. Back to the center and to the other side. Complete twist to the legs to one side and face to the other side. Try to relax here as you twist your spine. Try to push your legs down to the mat as you go about it. And then again, as you inhale, you'll get back to the center. You'll realize there is a basic pattern of movement and the connection of a breath work with it. Like whenever you are starting or prepping for a pose, you will take a nice deep inhale. Whenever you are into any movement like going out here, you will exhale. And then when you bring yourself back in, again you will inhale. So that stays with all the movements here. We'll do our next asana, which is a Pavan Mukta asana. If you're not comfortable with lifting your upper body up, just do a half of it, which is like Ardha Pavan Mukta asana, in which you're gonna bring your knees in, but you will not lift your upper body. Just a complete relaxing pose. Can you see that how your entire spine is getting a deep stretch here along with your glutes? So this is exactly what we are trying to aim here. Full deep stretch, navel to the spine, and hold it for as long as possible, minimum 4 to 5 breaths. You can also extend it to the single knee to the chest stretch to both the sides. Toes pointed to add little intensity, or you can just keep it relaxing without toe pointed as well. Full deep stretch. And relax. Again to the other side. And again to the other side. 4 to 5 times is a basic number which you have to follow with all the movements. The next movement we're going to add here is a figure 4 stretch, which is great for your piriformis muscle, and lot of new moms with constant sitting and bending forward gets irritated around here. So the idea is to cross your ankle over your knee and hold it up. Now you can hold it up and press right this, or if doesn't feel comfortable, you can just leave it open and press it from under the knee. Whichever position feels more comfortable, you will add this stretch to your daily routine. I am adding the word daily because these are very basic stretches and will not put pressure on any of your joints. The idea is to just relax around with these movements and feel the magic of how they're going to bring that strength and energy level back to you. And relax. This brings us to our last movement, and which is the most simplest of all, leg up the wall pose. While it is very effective, as you become a new mom, you need full recovery here around your ovaries or around your pelvic floor muscles. While you are right now in not a mood where you want to step out or work out, so these basic movements will give you that strength back first, in which leg up the wall pose. You will keep your legs against a wall or against a couch or against the side of your bed, whichever feels more comfortable. Keeping the feet tucked in. You will not point your feet up, but slightly tucked in. Keeping that core also engaged, your entire spine down to the mat. Now, how long you have to hold this leg up to the wall pose? As long as possible. Start with minimum 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and then keep extending it. It is a very relaxing pose which increases the blood flow to your entire upper body without, again, putting any pressure to any of the joints. We are not trying to put, in a plow pose or in a shoulder stand or all those movements. Basic movements, simplest of all, and again, you can do it anytime during the day, first thing in the morning, last thing before you sleep. It increases the blood flow not only to your entire endocrine system but also to your brain, so giving that kick start to your happy hormones. So just hold it as long as possible and then slowly fold your knees and bring it back down. Thank you so much everyone for watching and practicing this postpartum yoga session with us under Mindful New Moms by HCL Healthcare. I hope you all enjoyed doing this with us and will do it under your well-being initiative every day, and if not every day, at least 4 to 5 times a week. We're gonna come back with another such session which will help you to gain that strength back and recover, heal, and become more mindful. Thank you so much. See you all back soon.